Over the years, Married at First Sight's cast members and seasons have been defined by trigger words that are almost funny at this point. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. There have been several Married at First Sight trigger words that have left long-lasting impressions in the franchise. Married at First Sight premiered in 2014 and has 17 complete seasons behind it. Married at First Sight Season 18 is currently airing and is at the beginning stages of the experiment. In Season 18, all 5 couples said yes to their stranger spouses at the altar, and all have made it through the honeymoon and into the living together portion of the experience, although not without their challenges. MAFS Season 18 is already surpassing MAFS Season 17 in Denver in its success rate. In Season 17, there was a first-ever runaway bride situation, which caused cast member Michael Chiacalis to be rematched. One of the couples broke up upon returning from the honeymoon, while another split on their 1-month anniversary. Moreover, Michael said no to staying married to his new bride, and the other 2 marriages also ended in divorce. This poor outcome came on the heels of years of unsuccessful pairings. As it stands, the MAFS success rate is just at 18.75%. 64 couples, not including Season 18's, have been matched, and only 12 of them are still together. Married at First Sight has had a history of casting problematic cast members who tend to be the perpetuators of terms like the ones on this list. Whether it's been cast members who are emotionally unavailable, have clout-chasing motivations, shady backgrounds, or difficult personalities, these trigger words are born from their circumstances and behavior on the show. These words underscore the wild ideas in a season, perceptions in the show, and some also translate to the hopes of the cast of Married at First Sight. The Married at First Sight cast enter the experiment with high expectations, nerves, and positivity. However, these ideals have tended to shatter, or at the very least, be tested. The trigger words on this list have defined the show over the years, and they are actually funny at this point because they relate to disaster in some way. The words on this list can even play into the Married at First Sight bingo card idea, where fans have heard these words used time and time again, or they pertain to certain kinds of cast. Lifetime's Married at First Sight Season 18 cast member Carla Juarez has showcased her whimsical, spacey, and passive-aggressive personality in her early marriage to her husband, Juan Franco. When meeting with the experts during the selection process, Carla was a big advocate for the idea of manifesting. Carla believes she manifested the MAFS experience into her life, and that she had manifested her future husband. Carla's manifesting is funny at this point because she has been going out of her way to sabotage her marriage. She has done several passive-aggressive acts, like making her husband carry his clothes in a trash bag because he said he had forgotten about her while he spent time with Season 18 cast mate David Trimble. Married at First Sight Season 17 was a disaster. The Lifetime season not had the first runaway bride situation but also the first attempted group dupe. The 4 original couples conspired together behind the scenes to present themselves one way on camera, in order to control their narratives, or optics, on the show. They encouraged their partners not to share the truth, and it only caused resentment and inauthenticity in the marriages and among the cast dynamics. Becca Haley was a big user of the word optics, as she accused her husband, Austin Reed, of caring more about the optics than making his wife happy and trying to understand her. The word vulnerable has been used across the board season after season. The Married at First Sight experts encourage vulnerability among the cast in the marriages, and many struggle to show a vulnerable side of themselves. The fact that the cast can't be vulnerable in an experiment which requires that as the participants get to know and level with their stranger spouses is comical. The experts should be able to detect a potential cast member's ability to become vulnerable, as it is a necessary part of the process. Since vulnerability has not come easily to many cast members, and hence their marriages end in divorce, the word has lost a lot of its meaning and intention in the franchise. When things are seeming on course in the marriages, the word intentional gets brought up a lot. Whether it's in the sense of the cast being intentional with their behavior, or intentional with their time and what they choose to share, the cast intending on being honest and truthful has been a stretch given the poor success rate. Season 17's Michael had a big vocabulary and was eloquent with his delivery, But as much as he meant to be intentional, he caused his marriage to fail. Healing is another married at first sight trigger word that would be on the show's bingo card. Since many of the cast seem to believe they've healed themselves from their past traumas, relationship pitfalls, and personal hang-ups, they've felt ready for the experiment, when that has not been the case. While some cast like Nicole Lilienthal were able to heal her insecurities with the help of her husband, others have taken their red flags they haven't healed from and done damage in their marriages, like Matthew Gwynn's inability to heal his dysfunction. A lot of the participants have also been resistant to unpacking the issues in their marriages, which plays into the almost comical idea that the show is not selecting the right people to get married to a stranger. By endeavoring to unpack the underlying problems, the marriages often end up in worse shape. That could be due to bad therapy and counseling by the experts, the inability of the cast to have the depth to unpack, or both. Many Married at First Sight cast members have said they are ready to lean into the experiment. Season 14's Mark Marr was selected for Boston's season after having applied for the show before. He leaned into his marriage with an open heart, but was met by difficult personality Lindsay Georgulis as his bride, which made leaning into the experience difficult. Other cast, like Orion Martzloff, had said they were ready to lean into their next chapter, but had given up and essentially leaned out when they became overwhelmed. Lifetime's Married at First Sight dedicated an entire episode of Season 16 in San Diego to the phrase, "a whole wife." Cast member Alexis Williams was enamored with the idea of being married and called herself a whole wife upon marrying Justin Hall. However, her fantasy of being a whole wife dissolved when faced with the pressures that come with being a whole wife. Ironically, Alexis is set to become a whole wife again, as she is engaged post-show. The strange phrase was given legs by Alexis, and is a laughable trigger word to MAFS fans who know how that phrase ended for her. Married at First Sight cast members who are often toxic and unaccountable themselves have loved to throw around the word gaslighting. Season 14's Alyssa Ellman felt she was being gaslit by the entire experiment when it was her that was the problem in her marriage to Chris Collette. Making their partner question their truth, sanity, and reasoning by way of gaslighting has been a staple of some of the more questionable Married at First Sight.